Hello, all, and welcome. We are back talking with Dr. Guido Minaya, CEO of Minaya Learning Global Solutions, about instructor delivery. Last episode, we talked about global instructor delivery, trends, and some best practices. In this episode, we will focus on evaluations and metrics of instructor delivery. Stay tuned to learn more. Hello, Dr. Minaya. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Dario. It is a pleasure to be back on the show with you.
Now, today's topic is on the evaluation process for instructor delivery. What does evaluation look like in this area, and what is the background of evaluation when it comes to instructors?
That is a great place to start. When you think of the investment companies make in training, it is oftentimes significant, right? It's a significant budget. And from my perspective, any training related event, any workforce development program should have a well thought out evaluation component. So, what if we do a quick review of the 5 levels of evaluation that can be done for any type of training, and then we can zero in on the instructor delivery related evaluations?
It sounds good. Let's do that.
All right. Well, again, the evaluations come from Donald Kirkpatrick, the Kirkpatrick levels of evaluation, as well as the Phillips model for return on investment. And it's like a pyramid with the most frequently used type of evaluation, level one, starting at the bottom. So level one, the base level is reaction. So think of it like a customer satisfaction survey or a learner satisfaction survey focused on training. It includes questions on the content, the environment, where the training took place. Was it, in person, virtual? The level of expertise the trainer brings to the table, and was it a good use of the learner's time? The survey also includes a question like, can you use the concepts presented in your work immediately? So again, that's an important question. Then you get to level two, which measures learning. And in this case, we're looking at better understanding if there was an effective transfer of knowledge, right? In this case, we would formulate a pretest, which is given just before the training session begins. And we will also administer a similar post test shortly after the training session ends.
I see. So the results of level 1 and 2 are more geared to seeing if the learner is satisfied with the training that they went through and to see if they learned anything as a result of the training. So what does level 3 and 4 focus on then?
Sure, sure. And exactly right on level one and level two. Level three then looks at if there has been a change in behavior as a result of the training. For example, 60 days or 90 days after the training, you can send out a survey to the learner's manager and or peers to see if the learner is actually using the skills or tools presented in the training class. Has there been any behavior change as a result of the training that took place, a month ago, 3 months ago? Then you get to level four, which is a little bit higher up in the pyramid, and it looks for business evidence that the training session actually had some level of impact on the desired business results. For example, did sales increase? Are the end customer satisfaction or patient satisfaction scores better now? And although the business results can have a variety of factors that contribute to improvement, better training in these areas is also a contributor, and there is business evidence to reflect that.
Wow, that seems comprehensive. You mentioned level 5 as well. What does that entail?
Yes, as you can see, as you go up the pyramid, there are more data points you're gathering. It
Mm,
gets a little bit more complex in how you're gathering that data. And gathering those data points and analyzing those data points takes an additional investment, not only in resources, but in budget. A training leader and HR leader reserves those higher levels, level four, level five, for truly mission critical training initiatives. So level five goes one step further. It is at the top of the pyramid. And in essence, it starts with determining a baseline year. So the year, let's say the year's worth of data points before the training takes place is what we will use in a particular area, such as sales, customer service, patient satisfaction, manufacturing process errors prior, again, to the training. Then it measures the same metrics after the training takes place, a quarter later, a year later, and then compares the two. What does the baseline year look like compared to a year after the training takes place? Now it takes into account what else could have contributed to the change in performance. So this is really how you look for return on investment and attribute the appropriate component to what training brought to the table.
Given the 5 levels, which do you see most frequently for instructor delivery and which do you recommend for instructor delivery?
Right. It first depends on the course content. Like if it's high impact courses, then it may be best to consider all five levels of evaluation, which means again a higher investment in that analysis for the company. And really, to do all 5 levels, to do a level 5 return on investment, you need to do the first 4 as well. But for the most part, companies use a level 1, right? The reaction, the learner satisfaction evaluation. And this may be good enough for very routine, basic courses that are being delivered in that company. As a corporate training professional, I like to see a level 1 evaluation, the learner SAT scores, and a level 2 evaluation with pre-test and post-test at a minimum. And this provides much better context for the training manager or HR manager to see how the sessions are going. It helps us see that the investment being made is worthwhile, and it also gives us insights on how to improve.
Do you have an example of how the evaluation results are used?
Yeah, yes, great question. We recently had a training session that had, high scores for a company when it was delivered in a face-to-face classroom environment. And then we delivered the same course to learners who were remote in a Zoom format. And the level 1 scores dipped down. And even though we had additional support for the instructor with a moderator slash producer, the scores still dip down. And this informs us that we need to increase the engagement factor for the virtual training sessions so that the remote learners are getting a similar value as to the in-classroom learners, right? And just one note, right? When you get to soft skills, key soft skill development training sessions for a company, I would also recommend a level 3 evaluation. And these are not hard to put together, just a few questions. It just needs to be timed properly, 60 to 90 days after the training takes place. Again, these surveys could have 3 to 5 questions that go out to managers of the learners or peers of the learners. And it lets us see if the course content and the instructor hit the mark for the desired improvements. And it shows, has the learner improved their skill or behavior as a result of the course?
That was a lot of great information. Is there anything else you would like to share on the instructor evaluations?
And I think we've covered a lot, but really for trainers, instructors, and facilitators who are listening in, just a reminder to always attempt to get your evaluation scores from your clients or your internal HR team. And, once your session is over, request a review of your scores. Because again, for us in the corporate training environment, continuous improvement is always the name of the game. Dario, thank you for having me on the show again. And I hope this helped set some context for evaluations when it comes to instructor delivery.
Yes, it definitely did. Thank you, Dr. Minaya, for explaining evaluations and metrics of instructor delivery. For our next episode, we will be speaking to an Asia regional expert on instructor delivery and what are some trends he is seeing. Until next time.